The popular narrative is that increased China-U.S. tensions and fractured geopolitics would doom prospects for the 28th installment of the United Nations Conference of Parties (COP), which opens in Dubai on November 30. The annual UN Climate Summit has become a cruel punching bag for lack of progress in arresting the unsustainable rise in global temperatures. If COP27, hosted last year by Egypt, was notable for the host government's shambolic organization and lack of interest in the policy deliberations, there were fears that great power squabbles and rivalry would seal the fate of COP28. While the summit could still fail, which would be an unsurprising outcome considering the differing agendas of the UN membership, the climate détente pursued by America and China in recent weeks has given COP28 a fair shot of a reasonable outcome. While the world's attention was fixated last week on a summit meeting between Presidents Biden and Xi in California, which appears to have lowered simmering tensions, if nothing else, a more substantive agreement between the two countries in advancing the global climate agenda did not even merit a footnote in media coverage. That agreement, the Sunnyland Statement on Enhancing Cooperation to Address the Climate Crisis, was negotiated by U.S. climate envoy John Kerry and his Chinese counterpart over a week of grueling negotiations. It sets out firm commitments, with both sides agreeing to sufficiently accelerate renewable energy deployment through 2030 from 2020 levels. It also commits the U.S. and China to a policy dialogue on a range of technical issues, curbing methane emissions, plastic pollution, and reversing forest loss, for example. For critics and cynics, who have already declared the Sunnyland Statement to be much ado about nothing, there is the added pushback that it actually commits the two countries to work together, in support of the UAE hosting of a successful COP28. This language is significant for two reasons. First, it commits the two countries to take a collaborative approach in delivering positive outcomes at the UN summit. This was clearly not the case during the last two summits at Glasgow and Sharm el-Sheikh. Second, the climate détente represents a significant diplomatic victory for COP28 host UAE because the US and China are making special efforts to prevent the summit from failing, or at least being blamed for it. This signifies the UAE's importance to the two countries as a rising middle power. Ultimately, the fate of climate negotiations at COP28 will also depend on the ability of the UN's universal membership to agree on a set of contentious issues, which have doomed previous summits. It would be interesting to see if COP28 faces a similar fate or last week's climate détente promises a more hopeful outcome.